Do you see when you're talking about this era distraction, is this something that this is not just about students, but like how do we deal with this as adults? Like how do you see that in that connection?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild phenomenon what's happened to all of us. There's actually this consultant, Linda Stone, she's very famous, worked with Google, Apple, Microsoft, and she coined a term for what we're all feeling right now, George, and it's called continuous partial attention,
Mm.
where we give a little bit of attention to a lot of things all day long. And even when we don't have that device around us, our brain still kind of works that way of giving a little bit of attention to a lot of things. So reading is really, it's not just exercise for the brain, but it's also very calming and getting us out of that CPA because it's deep work, right? So would be like playing a sport would get about out of that, right? Like there's a lot of things that we can do to get us out of it, but that continuous partial attention is something we're all dealing with, kids and adults alike.
Well, that's like I was thinking about this. I've always dealt, and one of the chapters you have is engaging in an anxious world. I AJ knows this about me probably better than anyone. You cannot talk to me until a certain time of the day because I work out, and like I don't look at my phone. And one of the things I'm very cognizant of, I don't check my email, I don't check any social media because it can totally set me in a totally different way. And then once I'm done the workout, I feel like way better dealing with that too. And I think it's almost like I'm training myself. There's almost a time, do you remember the iPod Shuffle, the little tiny thing, and you just clip it on? And I felt like I worked out way better then because I never was like, I should check my email on my iPod Shuffle. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It had basically a bunch of songs. You couldn't even like pick the song. It was literally called the shuffle, and you could press it in order, whatever order it was you downloaded, or it would shuffle. And it's just like whatever song is coming on is coming on. So you better be picky because it's like 84 songs, which
That's
is like
exactly
amazing. 84 songs, right? And now people would laugh at how ridiculous that is, but it was like so few. So like how, when you say this, I'm curious about this personally, like the chapter on engaging in an anxious world. How would you talk about that with students, staff? Like, what is that focus there? Because it's something I really definitely deal with.
Yeah, that chapter's a lot about Jonathan Haidt's Anxious Generation book.
Mm. I got
About
questions, dude. More questions coming up right away.
yeah, I get to work with people all around the country, and that book has been a very big topic. So I wanted to address it at least in one of my chapters. And the thing is, research can go both ways. So I think when that book came out and I read the first three chapters, I was very scared. I saw a lot of the research that he was bringing about self-harm, mental health, all these different types of things that were happening to our youth and really correlated with overuse of a phone or that kind of continuous partial attention. But when you dig into the research, a couple things actually pops up. Number one, a lot of folks were saying this is a lot of correlation. There's other things that are happening here. And the other piece is that you really can't blame the kids for it. That's my starting point for all this, George. Is like you can't blame the kids.
Mhm.
We're the ones buying them the devices, giving them access to these platforms.
Right.
And so the adults, the tech companies, like the regulations that the governments have,
Jonathan Haidt.
right? These are much better places to blame, though, right?
Jonathan Haidt, like just to kind of put this, there's this Jonathan Haidt. This is what I can't get over. Okay. And this is my little, I'm sure he's a nice gentleman, right? The guy posts on social media every single day and posts nonstop. And it's like about how we shouldn't be on our phones or on social media. And like he talks about kids, and I'm like, this guy has made a ton of money. He's started a social movement by using devices and social media, but to tell people not to use it. Whereas if I felt like, hey, I did this thing, but I don't want anyone else to do this thing because only I'm smart enough to do this thing. Like it's kind of like, hey, if you really think it's so bad, don't have your phone on, don't have your book on Kindle, don't be using social media every single day. Because like I connect with you. I think it's like, how are we as adults modeling this to our kids? Not just saying, oh, those darn kids, right? Like they shouldn't be using it, but like I'm watching how people talk on social media to each other. I'm watching more adult anxiety. Like what is that step, for adults to kind of model this? Because I agree with you. It's like the kids are going to follow what we say, and what they see is like a lot of owning the other political side and all this other stuff. And I think it's like, wow, if this was two kids talking like this, we'd suspend them, but because it's adults, we cheer them on.
Yeah, and you think about like what we're modeling for kids, how they see adults interacting, as you're saying, but also just the fact that it's a part of our everyday lives. There's this big study done. There's a whole Freakonomics podcast episode that I'll give to you to put in the show notes. And basically, here's what happened in the study, George. They took all these high school and college kids, and they said, how much would we have to pay you to get rid of social media for a month? How much do you think it was?
I don't know, 10,000.
No, it was much less, right? It was
I don't know.
it was like anywhere between $50 to $300 that they would have to pay him to get rid of it a month.
Per month?
Per month. Yeah. They're like, oh, we can get rid of it
That's
for
a
a
deal.
month.
That's a deal.
Yeah. But something happened when they turned the research study on its head. They said, well, how much will we have to pay you if not only did you get rid of social media, but all your friends, family, everybody you know also got rid of social media for a month? And the kids actually said they would pay $30 of their own money for that back.